Today, I'll expose 7 new behaviors that prove a woman is emotionally cheating, even before she crosses the physical line. These aren't accusations or assumptions. These are observable patterns rooted in female psychology that reveal when emotional intimacy has been redirected away from you and towards someone else. Understanding these behaviors isn't about being paranoid or controlling. It's about recognizing the truth when your instincts are telling you something is wrong, but you can't quite put your finger on what it is. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and drop a comment if you've ever felt something was off but couldn't explain why. What you'll learn here might finally make it click. And stay until the end because I'll reveal what these behaviors mean collectively and what you should do if you recognize multiple patterns in your relationship. Behavior 1. She suddenly starts guarding her phone. Her phone used to sit openly on the table during dinner, face up, notifications visible. No big deal if you happen to glance at the screen. Now everything has changed. The phone is always flipped over or tucked away in her purse, out of sight and out of reach. Notifications are silenced, so you can't hear when messages come in. You notice she started deleting conversations more frequently, clearing her message history in a way she never did before. Passwords that were once shared or non-existent are now changed, and she makes sure to angle the screen away from you when typing. The anxiety is palpable when you come near her phone. If you pick it up casually to hand it to her, or move it aside, she reacts with immediate tension. She might grab it quickly from your hands, or ask with an edge in her voice why you're touching her phone. This isn't the behavior of someone with nothing to hide. This is someone actively protecting a secret. Female psychology reveals that emotional cheaters protect their digital world because that's where their secret connection lives. Her phone has become the gateway to her emotional affair. It's where the late-night conversations happen, where the inside jokes are shared, where the emotional intimacy that should belong to you is being given to someone else. She's not hiding random texts from acquaintances or spam messages. She's hiding emotional intimacy with someone else, and she knows that if you saw those conversations, you would immediately understand the depth of the connection. The more she guards her phone, the more she's guarding her secret bond. Think about it logically. If the conversations were truly innocent, there would be no reason to hide them. The secrecy itself is the confession. Her phone has become a physical barrier between you, a symbol of the emotional distance that's growing. Every time she protects it, she's protecting him and the relationship they're building behind your back. Behavior 2. She becomes emotionally unavailable, but pretends she's fine. When you ask how her day was, or try to have a meaningful conversation, she gives you surface-level answers. She says she's just tired or stressed from work, but emotionally, she's completely distant. You can feel the disconnection even when she's sitting right next to you. She's there physically, sharing the same space, but mentally and emotionally, she's somewhere else entirely. The warmth that used to exist between you has been replaced by a cold politeness, a going through the motions quality that feels hollow. She avoids deep conversations like they're a burden. When you try to talk about feelings, about the relationship, about anything meaningful, she changes the subject or gives you short, dismissive responses. If you express concern or try to dig deeper into what's bothering her, she deflects with phrases like, "I'm fine," or "nothing's wrong," even though everything about her demeanor says otherwise. The emotional intimacy you once shared has evaporated, and she seems content to keep it that way. Emotional cheaters redirect their energy towards someone new, and that includes their empathy, attention, and emotional depth. All the things she used to share with you are now being shared with him. The excitement about her day, the vulnerable thoughts that come up late at night, the fears and dreams she wants to process with someone who understands her, all of that now goes to him instead of you. What feels like moodiness or temporary withdrawal is actually a fundamental shift in where she's investing her emotional currency. This emotional unavailability is one of the most painful aspects of emotional cheating because you're left feeling completely alone, even though you're technically still in a relationship. You want to connect, to understand what's wrong, to help her through whatever she's dealing with, but she's erected walls that keep you out. Those walls exist because she's already let someone else in, and there's no room for both of you in her emotional world. Behavior 3. She complains about you. More often, especially over small things. Suddenly, you can't do anything right. Every little thing you do becomes a source of irritation for her. She criticizes the way you talk, finding fault with your tone or your choice of words. She comments negatively on the way you eat, how you dress, even how you breathe when you're sitting quietly. Things that never bothered her before are now constant sources of complaints. You feel like you're walking on eggshells, never quite knowing what will trigger the next criticism. The reason isn't anger in the traditional sense. It's comparison. When a woman bonds with another man emotionally, she unconsciously measures you against him, and you always come up short in that comparison. Every complaint is really her way of expressing, "You're not like him." He apparently tells stories in a more interesting way. He supposedly understands her better. He seems more considerate, more thoughtful, more everything that you're apparently not. The constant criticism is her subconscious way of justifying her emotional attachment to him. This shift in tone is one of the earliest signs her heart is somewhere else. When someone is emotionally invested in you, they practice grace. They overlook small flaws, appreciate your positive qualities, and extend understanding when you're not perfect. But when that emotional investment has moved to someone else, tolerance disappears. Every imperfection becomes magnified because she's looking for reasons to validate why she's pulling away from you and moving toward him. The criticism serves another purpose too. It creates emotional distance. By constantly finding fault with you, she gives herself permission to withdraw further. In her mind, she's justified in being distant because you're so flawed, so irritating, so incapable of meeting her needs. This narrative protects her from facing the truth that she's the one betraying the relationship by forming an emotional bond with someone else. Behavior 4. She mentions another man casually, then defends it. You start hearing his name frequently in conversation. He's a coworker, or a friend, or someone from the gym. At first, the mentions sound completely innocent. She's just sharing stories from her day, talking about funny things that happened at work, mentioning who she had lunch with. But as time goes on, you notice his name comes up too often, too naturally, woven into stories where his presence isn't really necessary to the narrative. Emotional attachment makes her brain associate comfort and excitement with that person, so she talks about him without realizing how often she's doing it. In her mind, she's just mentioning a friend, but the frequency reveals something deeper. He's taking up significant space in her thoughts. When someone occupies your mind constantly, they naturally appear in your conversation. She talks about him because she's thinking about him, and she's thinking about him far more than is appropriate for a supposedly casual friendship. The defense mechanism follows soon after you point out how often his name comes up. "You're overreacting," she'll say, or "We're just friends," or "Why are you being so jealous?" She gets defensive in a way that seems disproportionate to the situation. If it were truly just an innocent friendship, she could acknowledge your discomfort and perhaps pull back a bit or offer reassurance. Instead, she fights to protect the relationship, to maintain her access to him, which reveals how important that connection has become to her. When a woman starts protecting another man's image, she's already invested emotionally. She defends him when you express concerns. She explains away anything that might cast him in a negative light. She minimizes the closeness of their relationship while simultaneously refusing to create any distance. This protective behavior is a clear indicator that he matters to her in a way that goes far beyond friendship. She's emotionally attached, and her need to defend that attachment reveals its significance. Behavior 5. She spends more time looking her best, but not for you. She's dressing differently now, putting in more effort with her appearance than she has in months, or maybe even years. More makeup, carefully chosen outfits, new clothes that she's excited to wear, attention to hair and accessories that goes beyond her usual routine. At first, you might feel hopeful, thinking maybe she's making an effort to revive the spark in your relationship. But then you notice the timing is all wrong. She's not dressing up for your date nights together. In fact, those nights she barely tries at all, showing up in casual clothes with minimal effort. Instead, she suddenly cares about how she looks for work, for running errands, for casual meetups with friends. She's putting in significant effort for occasions that should be mundane and ordinary. She spends extra time getting ready before heading to the gym or meeting colleagues for coffee. The care and attention she's giving her appearance is clearly directed at someone or something outside your relationship, and it's impossible not to notice the discrepancy. Women express attraction through self-presentation. When she's emotionally connected to someone else, she wants to feel desired by him, and looking her best is part of that dynamic. This isn't vanity or a sudden interest in self-care. It's the subconscious drive to be attractive to the person who's currently occupying her emotional attention. She wants him to notice her, to find her appealing, to see her at her best, because his validation has become important to her. The shift in grooming habits isn't random or coincidental. It's her subconscious trying to impress her new source of validation. Every extra minute she spends on her appearance before seeing him is a minute spent investing in that relationship instead of yours. The fact that she doesn't put in the same effort for you reveals where her desire for approval and attraction is truly directed. You're the official partner, but he's the one she wants to impress. Behavior 6. She acts overly happy around you, fake cheerfulness. Instead of being cold or obviously distant, she might actually overcompensate by being excessively cheerful. She's suddenly making jokes more often, laughing loudly at things that aren't particularly funny, being overly nice in a way that feels forced and unnatural. She might compliment you more than usual or show interest in your day with an enthusiasm that doesn't quite ring true. To someone on the outside, it might look like things are going great, but you can feel that something is off. This isn't reconciliation or a genuine improvement in her mood. It's guilt management. Emotional cheaters experience internal conflict between what they're doing and their self-image as a good person. That cognitive dissonance creates guilt, and one way to manage that guilt is to overcompensate with excessive positivity. By being extra nice to you, she's trying to convince herself that she's not really doing anything wrong, that she's still a good partner, that the emotional affair isn't as serious as it actually is. The more she tries to act normal, the more forced it feels. True contentment and happiness have a natural, easy quality to them. This forced cheerfulness feels like a performance, like she's playing a role rather than genuinely experiencing positive emotion. You might catch moments when the mask slips, when the smile fades, and you see exhaustion or anxiety in her eyes. But then she quickly recovers and puts the cheerful facade back in place. True peace feels natural, while fake peace feels like performance. When someone is genuinely happy and at ease, there's a relaxed quality to their demeanor. But this cheerfulness is tense, requiring effort and energy to maintain. Her fake cheerfulness is her way of hiding the emotional storm she's trying to balance. She's managing two relationships simultaneously, trying to keep you placated while nurturing her emotional connection with someone else. And that juggling act requires a performance that covers up the guilt and confusion she's actually feeling. Behavior 7. She avoids physical intimacy but doesn't want to break up. She's still affectionate in small, surface-level ways. She'll give you hugs when you come home or before bed. She smiles at you, touches your arm when you're talking, maybe even kisses you briefly on the lips. But any attempt at deeper physical intimacy is met with resistance or excuses. She's tired, not feeling well, has to wake up early tomorrow, isn't in the mood. The rejection isn't harsh or angry, just consistent and persistent. The physical connection that once existed between you has quietly disappeared. What's confusing is that she doesn't seem to want to break up. She's not picking fights or creating distance in obvious ways. She still wants to live together, share finances, make plans for the future, maintain the structure of the relationship. She's rejecting you physically while simultaneously clinging to the comfort of being cared for. And this contradiction is maddening because it makes the situation harder to confront. Women emotionally cheat as a way to create a soft exit from the relationship. They disconnect physically and emotionally while maintaining the stability and security of the partnership. This allows them to explore the emotional affair without the risk and disruption of actually ending the official relationship. It's a safety net. She gets the excitement and validation from him while still having the comfort and security of you. This dual behavior, distance without separation, is how emotional affairs survive undetected for months or even years. She's not leaving because she's not ready to give up what you provide, whether that's financial security, social status, companionship, or simply the comfort of the familiar. But she's also not truly present in the relationship anymore because her emotional energy is being directed elsewhere. You're left in a relationship that exists in form but not in substance, with a partner who's physically there but emotionally gone.